In 1902, a construction crew in Paola, Malta, punched through a layer of solid limestone while digging a cistern for a new housing project. As the dust cleared, a single shaft of daylight revealed a hidden complex that had been sealed for thousands of years. This was the Ħal Saflieni Hypogeum, a three-tiered labyrinth. Its earliest chambers were carved around 4000 BC, meaning this underground site was already in use centuries before the first stones were raised at Stonehenge or the Great Pyramid was even conceived. Archaeologists describe the site as architecture in the negative. Instead of quarrying blocks to build upward, the creators sculpted the sanctuary by carving directly down into the soft, golden Globigerina limestone. To make the caves feel like the megalithic temples standing above ground, the builders meticulously chiseled false columns, lintels, and doorways into the cave walls. These features provide no structural support. They are purely aesthetic choices carved into the living rock. By the time it was finished, this site had become an engineered labyrinth that challenged the technological limits of the Neolithic world. This was never a residence for the living. It functioned as a massive necropolis, eventually housing the remains of an estimated 7,000 individuals over 15 centuries of active use. The funerary process was a cycle of natural decay. Bodies were placed in the chambers to decompose. Once the flesh was gone, the bones were cleared into mass ossuary pits to make room for the next generation. Hollowing out this massive space was done entirely without metal. Every curve and pit was chiseled out using primitive tools like these: dark flint scrapers, obsidian blades, and pieces of deer antler. The sheer scale of this physical labor suggests a powerful spiritual motivation. This wasn't a project of convenience, but one of deep ritual significance. Deeper within the complex, on the middle level, the architecture shifts from burial to ritual in a space known as the oracle room. The builders carved a small, smooth niche into the wall at head height. When a low voice speaks into this specific cavity, the surrounding curves capture the sound and project it as a booming resonance throughout the rest of the underground complex. This room functions as a precise acoustic filter. It resonates at 70 and 114 Hz, frequencies known to interact specifically with human brain activity. When exposed to these frequencies, the brain experiences a physiological shift, triggering intense physical relaxation and sensory distortion. Neolithic priests likely used this effect to simulate the voice of a deity. In the pitch black, a booming, disembodied echo would have been a powerful tool to mesmerize anyone gathered in the sanctuary. This suggests the hypogeum was used as a massive acoustic machine, specifically designed to alter the consciousness of the people inside. The sleeping lady figurine, found deep within these chambers, provides the most important clue to the rituals performed in these resonant spaces. It likely depicts the rite of incubation. Devotees would descend into the dark, silent depths of the temple specifically to sleep. By sleeping in this acoustic sanctuary, surrounded by the bones of 7,000 ancestors, they sought to enter a dream state to receive visions or consult the dead. These walls are decorated with intricate spirals and honeycomb patterns painted in red ochre. Archaeologists suggest these motifs represent the shifting, geometric imagery often reported by people in deep trance states or sleep-induced visions. The resonance of the room provided the physical primer, pushing the mind into the vulnerable, dreamlike state required for their spiritual work. To the people who built this, descending into a tomb was not an act of morbid curiosity. The presence of the ancestors provided a sense of continuity. The entire complex functioned as a womb of the earth, a space where life, spiritual healing, and death formed a single, unbroken cycle. Today, the site is a heavily restricted UNESCO World Heritage Monument, with admission limited to just a few dozen people a day. The restriction is necessary because the site is dying. The breath and humidity from modern visitors can permanently dissolve the 5,000-year-old red ochre paintings that have survived since the Neolithic. With only stones and antlers, these builders engineered a space that manipulated sound to reach into the human mind, creating a sanctuary that remains an enigma 5 millennia later.